Greetings and salutations, everybody. My name is MiAh the King, and today we're taking a look at Vampire the Masquerade, the visual novel. Yay! Now, I'm sure a lot of you out there have heard of Vampire the Masquerade, the video games, where you play as a hunter or a vampire, or however you start off in each game. Each one seemingly an RPG adventure while being a vampire, or at least in the vampire world, with cool unique abilities and cool gameplay mechanics. Also, the new Vampire Masquerade game that's supposed to be coming out soon. Sorry if you can hear my cat in the background, she's being annoying today. Well, I assume that this game takes place in the same universe, but is played very differently. Do I know why? Nope. Do I care? Not really. But before we go any further, we have a very important breaking news story. This just in. Today, another YouTube channel died as the YouTuber unfortunately couldn't bear being ignored any longer. The YouTuber, name not found, decided that after a year of getting no views or subscriptions that he simply didn't have the motivation to continue. This is a sad story, but one of thousands, as each year more and more YouTubers give up trying to make their channel popular. I'm sure our viewers out there know just how serious this is, but I am required to inform the masses regardless. Make sure you subscribe to and like a small YouTube channel today. Every one of us must do our part to stop the senseless deaths of so many small YouTube channels. This has been your weekly warning to do your part to help out the little guys. Back to you, Tom. Wait, who the fuck is Tom? Well, whatever. Let's get back to looking at the game, shall we? Now, this obviously isn't your usual Vampire Masquerade game. It's clearly a visual novel, so the main question on everyone's mind is it worth it? Is it similar to the older games? Is it any good? And that's why you're here, to see for yourself if you should give this game a try. Well, if you want to know that answer, then you're going to need to stay tuned and watch the video to find out, because I'm not giving a recommendation till the end. Also, you might want to watch the whole thing, because there might be some things scattered about in the middle that might help persuade you. So the game is kind of weird, but in a good way. It's a visual novel, but it's done, very well, I'd have to say. I've seen tons of these, and normally they can get kind of boring. Sometimes they just don't have enough art involved to help you picture the scene, and since it's a visual novel, that's kind of important. And if they do that while also not providing enough text to describe the situation, you'll find yourself just lost and not really understanding anything. This game has amazing art, and amazing grammar and dialogue, and text in general. It does a great job of describing pretty much everything that is happening to you, or your thoughts, or what people are saying. But it's almost too much. I found myself skipping over a lot of dialogue, but still retaining the overall picture and even some of the subtle nuances. The art is fantastic. It's very well done, fits the theme, and really pulls you into the dark, gritty kind of new life as you live as a vampire. So even though the art is dark, dirty, and depressing, it feels accurate and it feels right. So, for the story, you're some guy. Doesn't really matter who, you're just some miserable, average, everyday, goes-to-work kind of guy. Then, one day, you're seduced by a vampire who turns you into one. From there, you are introduced into this vampire organization, plead for your life, then start a new life as a vampire in this organization, working to build up their trust, build relationships, learn your new powers, etc., etc. That's the story that I got so far. I've played a little over an hour, maybe a little bit more than that, and that's the gist of what I got so far. So this video isn't going to be super long. There's not a whole lot to this kind of game, which means there's not a whole lot that I can really say about it. So let's just make this brief so I don't drone on and bore you to death. The good. The game is well written, it has great art, and even has some animations scattered about that surprised me, but in a good way. The game's story is intriguing and compelling, and it's engaging. It gives you plenty of choices and the ability to roam around the city. It has unique powers, dialogue options, etc. Pretty much everything you kind of expect to be in a visual novel nowadays. So, does it do anything innovative? Not really. I mean, the closest thing to being innovative it has is its hunger mechanic. If you do not feed, you're going to unleash the beast. I don't know what that means, but according to the game, it can lead me to a game over if I'm not careful. But besides that, it pretty much gives you everything you expect it to. But this is still considered a good thing in my book. I mean, I'd much rather have a visual novel I'm interested in give me what I expect rather than not, so it doesn't fail in that particular aspect. And last but not least, the sounds. Both the music and the ambient sounds are pretty good. In fact, whenever something exciting would happen in the dialogue, the music would always jump to match the mood. It truly helped set the immersive feeling when playing, and really helped you to draw your attention in, to focus more, to pay more attention, because that music went off, you know something just happened. So those are the good, here are the bad. The game drones on. As I mentioned earlier, there's almost too much dialogue, even for a visual novel. I was skipping through a lot of the text near the end of my recording, but still understood everything happening around me. I mean, I don't need the game to describe to me the things that are in the picture I'm looking at. If I'm in an underground parking garage and I can see it thanks to your art, then I really don't need you to describe that parking garage to me. I can see it. And in some sections, why just give me one solid picture but 16 paragraphs of story and events happening? Show, don't tell. This is what leads the game to feel like it's just dragging its feet. It got really annoying and a bit depressing as I found myself staring at an apartment while the game was telling me I was in a stairwell, then I was outside the building, then I was in a car. Just show me those pictures. I've seen visual novels filled with pictures to describe everything your character is doing, so there's no real excuse for why it's not here. And I'm not saying just show me the picture, but show me the picture with minimal descriptions. You know, how cold is it? What's the guy in front of me doing? Stuff like that. The lack of saving mechanics, I mean, I suppose the game does this so you can't just do whatever you want and then load and, just play the game as a boss or as a beast or whatever, but it does get a bit irritating when you don't know how the game is supposed to flow and then you die, and there's no autosave or quick save mechanic. See, now because of that, I have to start all over again. And this is made much worse by the fact that you can't skip the text in any way. So if you die because of something dumb that you had no control over or had no knowledge of beforehand, then you're going to have to start all over again and be unable to skip the dialogue, thus forcing the game to drag on and on and on again. And as I just mentioned, you can't skip the dialogue. I want to bring special attention to this. At all. There's nothing for it at all. Which a lot of visual novels include in their games for instances such as this. The fact that you can't in this game, alongside with having no autosaves, just makes it even more of a drag. I mean, I think that's the main theme here. The game just drags its feet with everything. Literally everything. Every conversation has to take too long. Every description has to be too descriptive. Every event has to be too well written. And yes, there is such a thing as too well written. I mean, honestly though, it's about 50-50. The bad and the good. The bad isn't so bad that I'd call this game bad. In fact, I kind of like it. Not enough to keep it, but that isn't because I don't like it. I simply can't keep it because I just don't have any more money, and I can't afford to pay $20 for a game that I'm just not interested in. I also have to think about my future and how I need the money to record more videos so I can continue putting content for you guys out there. And if this isn't a game that I'm 100% invested in, if it's not something in my genre, and if it wasn't something so good to pull me into that genre like Hades was, then I can't. But just because I'm getting a refund doesn't mean you should ignore it or walk away. If you are into visual novels, then you're going to love this one. It's really good in what it does. I personally don't normally enjoy visual novels. In fact, I don't think I've ever really gotten into any visual novel. They're just simply not my kind of game. I love to read, I love to play games, but I don't love to play reading games. That's just me. But if you're interested in trying out something new, or if you love visual novels, or if you just love vampires, then you should really check this game out. Now I know it's not for everyone, and that's fine. If you're thinking this might be the one to open up that new genre for you, then by all means, try it out. I recommend it. It's not even super expensive, 20 bucks. It's not too bad, especially for the amount of development effort that clearly went into making it. Overall, I think it's pretty damn good, generally speaking. If I was into visual novels, this is definitely something I'd like to keep a mess around with. Not to mention, I never got to play those older Vampire Masquerade games, so I'll always kind of feel like I'm missing out on some important text or names or locations or events and just not really know what's going on. Now, it could be that it shares the name and it has nothing to do with the old games, or it could be that it's just a coincidence, but even so, knowing that makes me feel like I could be missing out. But the point is, for a visual novel, it's pretty damn good. So, if you're wondering if it's worth it, I think it is. Go and check it out. Hell, even if you don't like visual novels, I'd still recommend checking it out like I did. You might find yourself enjoying it. I personally did enjoy it, but only as a brief encounter. I don't think I could find myself sitting down and reading this for long periods of time. Not with the kind of lifestyle I have, currently raising 2 kids. I've got a very busy lifestyle. I'm lucky I can do this video today, which I'm on a very strict time limit, so I gotta wrap this up. But the fact that with my lifestyle, I just can't. But I feel like if I had more free time, maybe I could sit down and enjoy this, and I'm a guy who doesn't normally like these kind of things. So, keep that in mind. But, that's it for this episode, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I recommend this game, so I think you should check it out. I hope I helped some of you learn more about the game. I hope I helped some of you spend your money wisely, and I hope to see you on my next adventure. So until then, I bid you farewell.